Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division in the Christmas tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. You can get the ultimate tournament text guides by subscribing to Patreon. Link to Patreon in the video description down below. We still have the December special, which is a major discount on those text guides. And so get them, you have 6 days left when I'm making this video. So, in the end, this is a playthrough for Expert, a little bit late, but due to celebrating Christmas with my lovely family, it had to be this, but I'm happy to get it out because I have a lot of great content for you here, which will help you big time in improving your tournament play in this Christmas tournament, especially when you might want to take a shortcut, celebrating a little bit more with your family, and then, you know, use the playthrough or the guides, you know, a little bit more this time. In the end, info box on the right hand side with elevation adjustment for the drive for the second shot. We do have the suggested ball, but also a club that might be suggested as well. So key things there in the end. So I'm gonna stop talking, but everyone, Merry Christmas and let's go with the video. For hole number 1, I'm going to show you 2 type of approaches. One where we're just going to lay up and rely on the fact that we actually can hit perfect with our short iron. 3 bars of topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. Leave approximately 1 ring from the rough with the ball guideline. So I'm only looking for the ball guideline, but with an extra mile is going to be with a red ring as well by the rough to the left. And now we're looking for 355 yard mark. That mark is going to mean minimum distance minus 10%. Now I do play minimum distance minus 10% but adding 0.2 because I felt okay, this is not entirely in minimum distance. But in the end, you're going to see what happened, and so we are going to be focused from 355 minimum distance with minus 10% elevation, which is uphill, which means as well that the ball is going to be less affected by the wind. We get it in though, but those 2 decimals was almost about to mess it up for us there. So I'm going to play this one based by yardage notes. For those of you having a problem hitting the ball perfect and just want to gamble and see if you can get it to green, you can do so by playing with a driver with 6 bars topspin and then preferably a driver like an Apocalypse 5 with 240 yards. 6 bars topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. You don't want to use more than 6 bars because then you're definitely gonna go over the green if you are unlucky. Now in the end we adjust for maximum distance plus 10, we push up the target into max, and now it's all about the curl. But in the end I'm using too little curl here, we do need 1 ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. And the ball here is going to carry and it's going to bounce on the fairway, but here you can see the problem with using too little curl. We get too much to the left and we get into the bunker, and that is what you risk. So if you choose to lay up and play based by yardage notes, especially if you do have my ultimate text guides, then you will be able to shoot that one every time you hit perfect. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, full blast, go for green, and it's either going to be rough, sand, or green, or fairway. For hole number 2, I'm choosing the right hand side. The reason for that is that I do believe that playing the rough bump as we're going to do for the second shot is going to be the best way for us to get this one in a way that we consistently can shoot for the albatross. First, max topspin. Use as much topspin that you possibly can, combined with 2 to even more side spin to the right if that is something you would like to use. But I use 2 bars and try to gain as much distance as possible. Obviously, with a different driver that you might reach even further. Maximum distance plus 10%. Second shot, we use, in this case, we use as much topspin that we can. We are using 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the left as we can. The thing that we do need to do here is that we do need to get this get this ball guideline to the pin. Very important. Now I play this shot with medium distance without any elevation, but we should be playing this one medium distance minus 10%. Weirdly, but yeah, that is what we need to do. The reason why we're not using any extra elevation and just using like under adjustment instead is due to the rough bump. The rough bump takes away the secondary the second bounce and the third bounce, which means that the ball is not gonna have any extra effect from when it hits the ground directly, and that's why I believe going for the rough bump is going to be the best and most consistent way trying to get an albatross from distance. For hole number 3, we're going to play with the sniper, and here we're going to use 1.2 bars topspin, and I'll play with 2.5 bar side spin to the left. And now I'm actually going to back up, and now we look at the ball guideline combined with the blue ring. So blue ring by the rough line, ball guideline pointing approximately 1 to 1.5 green square to the left of the pin. But very important that you keep the blue ring by the rough line, because you don't want the ball guideline to be too close to the pin, because it's going to be bouncing and gaining a lot of distance here, so therefore we need to leave the ball guideline short. Maximum distance plus 20%, so we need to play it 20% extra, but also maximum distance even though we aren't in maximum distance of our club. Now we get extremely close on that one, and it is going to be a tough one here on hole number 3, because we do not really have that many spots to play with. I just want to mention the rough bump while we're taking this shot once again. There is a rough bump further in front where there is also a funnel. The problem with that though is the wind that we're having, because if we adjust for the rough bump and we adjust up into the sand, we're going to gain distance because it all goes uphill, 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 uphill. So with that being said, we're going to have an issue where we're going to bounce much further in front than we're aiming, and that is super hard to give any sort of adjustment for, at least at the moment. But for those of you playing with Wind 5 ball, that might be an option, but I would be very aware of the fact, or at least a bit, cautious about the fact that we can't go too far, because if we hit the fairway and not the rough, we're basically dead. So now we come to a very, very important hole. Here I would consider us to see this one as a must eagle. First, 6 bars topspin. I don't really want to use more. I think 6 bars gets us to a very nice distance. Put ourselves into max position. I play with an Apocalypse level 5. Use as much side spin to the right as well. And then we're going to play with approximately half a ball of curl to the right. This because I do want to start ourselves more to the center of the fairway with our drive, and then the curl is helping us getting to the right, so we're not gonna get into the rough with the drive. Because getting into the rough, then we are taking away a very good opportunity for an eagle here. No elevation for the drive whatsoever, and that leaves us up to play with a thorn, or hornet, or falcon, or whatever short arrow you might want, but get one with ball guideline. That's gonna be much easier. No elevation, and I play this one on the slider 25%, or if you want to just calculate it yourself, in between minimum and medium distance. No spin whatsoever, aim for the hole. And it is very important here for you to look for what distance you are, because even though you might get the same yardage all the time, we're gonna play a straight drive, then a second shot to the left, which means that we won't be getting any help from the yardages whatsoever. So look for where you are with your second shot, so you can get that winning nicely for an eagle. But this is, in my opinion, going to be a must. Hole number 5 you're going to watch 2 times, and the reason we're gonna watch it 2 times is because this video is going to go fairly quick and we need to get the time to talk about it. 4.2 bars topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. ball guideline through the hole with the yellow ring just by the top of the rough there. Very important. Minimum distance plus 5%. Okay, very important that as well. And so it's going to be minimum distance. We play with a power 3 ball, win 3. You can obviously play with another ball that gives you more wind resistance, like a win 5 ball, but the important part is that you do have side spin 3. Super important. But the rough bump here is, in my opinion, the absolute best way to get an hole-in-one on this course. And in the end, sniper is the club, and you can play it down towards a sniper level 8. If you do not have a sniper level 8, you have a sniper 7, 6, 5, that's going to be a bummer obviously, but then you will have to either bounce up towards the pin or use a backspin approach by going on the top of the green instead. But I wanted to focus big time on this approach, which is going to be my main approach and a best chance getting a hole-in-one. Great left and great right is still fine. Have that in mind on hole number 5. For hole number 6, we are going to play with the driver that gives us the most distance and the most topspin possible. Power 3 ball is, in my opinion, an absolute must. Here I only play for the eagle. I know there is a power hook on this one as well, but why? It's like I don't see the reason to why, because in the end it's going to be very tough to get that one to be consistent, and it's still not going to get us a good approach for albatross. So therefore I'm not gonna risk it. Max topspin, 3 bars to the right, maximum distance plus 10, and then in the end I do push up around 3 rings after my adjustment to give myself a little bit extra push with distance. And then we're going to get the ball to get down there to the fairway. Sometimes we're going to get a little glitchy roll on the fairway, which is very helpful. But even if we don't, it's still not going to be any problem get this one to the green. Second shot is going to be with the club that gives you the most distance there as well. Very important, use as much side spin to the left, and here you need to be a bit innovative, because it all depends on how far you go with your drive, in what way you're going to play it. And also, you can play it with overpower as I do here and use backspin with my approach getting in here towards the green, or can you play topspin and less overpower. Very important though, giving yourself 1 to 1.5 ball curl outside to the left. But the second shot there is going to be something you will have to play based on your gut and your feeling there. I can give you a reference, but I cannot really help you more than that, because your drive is gonna be different distances from time to time, so just have that in mind. So for hole number 7, I'm going to give you 2 type of approaches. One with playing with a normal kingmaker, but here we do need to play with at least 6 bars of backspin, or not at least, we play with 6 bars of backspin and half a bar of side spin to the left. Focus here is to get to plus 5 yards with a little gap from the rough to the white ring at the bottom, with the ball guideline pointing at the hole. The thing that I would like to tweak on this adjustment though is to move my ball guideline to point slightly to the left of the hole to give a much better wrestle. Now I hit a minor great left, which in the end helps me. That's why I tell you to aim slightly left of the pin. 20% over adjustment with a max distance approach. That's why we have the number on the top. So 20% max distance on option number 1. For those of you that do want to play with still a power 3 ball, but you do want to reduce the wind with a wind 4. Now we do have a vintage ball which gives us the same type of wind as if we would be playing with a Centurion. There is a ton of players out there with collected Centurions that could be useful here. Now we're not using any spin. We're leaving the top of the white ring just by the rough line, and then we adjust maximum distance plus 10. But now in this case I adjust maximum distance plus 15, and there you do have the difference. So maximum distance plus 10 for option number 2 with no spin, where you can play with whatever sniper you might have. But there you need to play, we can take that one again, we need to play with a wind 4-ball. Because if we do get wind that is going to be 8 miles per hour or more, we are going to go in between clubs. That's why the Kingmaker approach there will be like a 50-50 approach if it's going to work or not. So that's why this is going to be a more special ball approach, and the Kingmaker, we go in front and we do option number 1 with the backspin. So for hole number 8, we're going to play a drive that is very similar to the drive that we are playing in Pro, but also in Master. Now we're just going to try to get the ball down over the rough and roll, and giving us either a wedge or a short iron towards the pin. Berserker ball, max topspin, and here obviously you have a major advantage if you do have an Apocalypse level 7, level 8, or a Thor Sama level 7, level 8, where in my opinion you can actually go for green here if you are lucky, because it all depends on, you know, do you have more tailwind than crosswind, because the wind angle is going to change. But the same type of approach, max topspin, stretch out so you see the second bounce on the fairway going towards the part of the rough there. And then you go adjust your target, maximum distance plus 20, push up to max, max overpower, and then you're gonna get your ball somewhere here. And from somewhere here, it's either going to be a wedge or it's going to be a short iron, and now it's not going to be easy. So here we're going to have to play with an over adjustment of 30%, but here your skill with your wedge is most likely going to come in play, because this once again is going to be extremely difficult to get this one correct, because you're going to have different distances, and the closer you are to the pin, the lower the elevation is going to be. The further away from the pin you're going to be, the higher up you're going to be, and the more elevation you're going to have. So try to find a spot based on yardage, and in the end, unfortunately, we do hit great on this one here, but try to find a spot with yardage where you got a drop, and in the end, with a 30% over adjustment here, we would have got that one in if it would be a perfect. For hole number 1, we're going to use a driver with 6 topspin if we could prefer something. We're going to put ourselves with 2 bars of left spin as well, and then just focus on the ball guideline. Have it pointing down towards the fairway, not towards the rough in any form. Maximum distance plus 10%, so we do need to add because we're playing downhill. Once you have made your adjustment, you turn the screen around so the ball guideline pointing straight forward, push up your target into max, and then you make just a normal shot. From there you're going to be able to adjust and attack the pin using the slight funnel there is. The problem is though that we're going to get a massive bounce to the left here with our approach. So the thing that I try to here is to offset approximately 1 green square to the right of the pin, but it's still going to be a little bit too little. So we do need a little bit more, so I would suggest to use the backspin as shown, 4 to 5 bars backspin, and then 1 to 1.5 bar side spin to the right. And from this position I played mid plus 5%, which in the end is going to be close to 1-1. So in the end everybody, thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Expert Division. As mentioned, a little bit late, but at the same time it is Christmas and it is important for me to celebrate with my family. So in the end I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comment if you do have any questions and I will be happy to help you out. And last but not least, Merry Christmas.